What is a good indicator that will help you in your trading when you're looking at the micro E-mini S&P 500? That is the MES. Now, this is a chart of the NASDAQ futures, but it doesn't really matter what specific instrument you're trading or contract. Let's say you are an MES day trader, right? And you're looking for a good indicator that would kind of give you some indication of where to trade or what zones to trade supply and demand off of. Okay, I'm going to share with you pretty much the most important tool that's part of my toolbox when I'm trading each and every single day. I'm a price action trader, so I'm looking at structure because that's what is most important to me, is determining the overall direction of a trend, whether we are bullish to the upside or bearish to the downside. The strategy and how I trade is all centered around supply and demand. Those aggressive points where the market is breaking structure to the upside and clearing, say a swing high or maybe a swing low. That could be an area of supply. But either way, I trade supply and demand zones. All right, it's very important for me. I don't like to trade break and retest or breakout trades or any other specific trade. 98% of my trades that I take is all centered around simple supply and demand. All right. Now, if you are someone that's looking for a great strategy, here on my channel, I go in so much great detail about a simple strategy surrounding supply and demand. And I talk about it, how using volume profile is a very important indicator. And you'll see that I have it loaded here to the right hand side of my charts. Now, I use top-down analysis, all right, when I'm trading. I'm using a higher base range bar chart, okay? I start with my 120, and then I'm looking to see or find out which directions the market's moving. I'll start off and mark up most of my zones off of the higher range. Why? Because higher range or higher charts, whether they're time charts or whatever chart you may trade, you should place most emphasis on them because they are the ultimate direction, the ultimate trend in what the market is really trying to move in. All right, so understand that. So I'm not saying I'm trading. I do not trade off of my higher charts. Okay, I mark up my zones and then I wait for the market to kind of retrace back to those zones that I have marked up on my higher range bar charts. Then I will scale down to, say, for example, if it was my MES chart, like the micro E-mini S&P 500, which is the ES, I'll scale down to a 12 range chart. So I use a 60 range, a range bar chart for a higher time frame or higher range chart for the ES, okay? And then I'll move down to a 12 range for when I'm scalping, okay? When I'm looking at the NASDAQ, I'm using a 120 range bar, higher range chart, and then a 24 range bar chart when I'm making my entries off of. So volume profile is very important. I talk about the strategy and how I trade across the channel here. I'm just going to kind of give you like an example of some areas. We'll look at demand here, because that's what I trade. Using the volume profile and how I use it in my personal trading every single day, because volume is extremely important. Number one, you have to have we have to have volume in the market to be able to trade, right? We want to have a margin or a certain amount of volatility within the market. Okay, if the market's too volatile, say for example on a bank holiday, we don't want to be trading in that because volume could be low, volatility could be high, and the market may have some large gaps, or there could be large spreads within the market. Okay, meaning the market is not specifically like touching a zone or an area that you may have or level you may have interest of. It may blow right through it, push back up. The market does some strange things on holidays. So please, I particularly don't trade bank holidays unless I see the volume is kind of the same or kind of within range as it would be in a normal trading day. All right. And so anyways, yeah, volume profile is very important. I'm going to show you how I actually use it. Now, if you're interested in kind of understanding the strategy and how I actually trade, if you stay with me to the end of the video, I'm going to talk about a private community. We have a Discord community, and it's free. The link is down in the description. If you're interested in joining a private community where I go into detail and great detail here on the channel, about the trades I actually take, showing you the strategy as a whole, you may want to take interest in that as well. So anyways, let's talk about the actual volume profile. As you see here, this is a actual dynamic volume profile that I have loaded to the chart. I prefer to use those because when I'm looking or trading intraday, That means during the actual session, whether it's pre-market or into the session, the New York session, which opens up at 9:30 Eastern time, I'm particularly interested in certain areas. I'm not interested in what, several days back and what happened before and bringing that into the picture of the fold of volume profile. I'm interested in what's going on at that current moment with volume, with price action, okay? Now, if I'm using my higher chart right here, like my 120 to mark my zones off first, I want to start here. I want to get the direction of the market correct. So if I see the market is trending bullish to the upside, then guess what? Then this tells me that I need to be looking for pullbacks to key areas of demand. Demand is areas of aggressive buying when, most times it's the banks and institutions that are making these big, massive moves to the upside. Like right here, pull back. This was a break of structure, demand area. Another one, aggressive buying. When you see multiple green candles taking out swing highs, all right, or breaking structure, like right here, that's the banks and institutions, okay? Right here, massive push to the upside. The market could have came back to this area here, tested this zone here. Another great area of demand right there, high probability, banks and institutions making that move. Then it pushes higher and it breaks this major high right here. Definitely indication that's the banks and institutions. Now, when I see a major something, meaning a major high or a major low being taken out, that is what I'm focused in on most times because those are going to be the beautiful and the highest points of, how shall I say it, chances of probability where the market will react at once it breaks those areas of structure, comes back to it, and then you can take a trade going, in this case here, because it's demand going to the upside. Now, with volume profile bringing into the picture here, again, treat this chart as if it was like the MES, all right? It doesn't matter because, you're going to see the same thing, patterns take place across multiple markets, all right? This just happens to be the NASDAQ, but just think about it. Oh, okay, this was the MES, the micro E-mini S&P 500, okay? Now, we can see the market is breaking structure higher here. If this was an area of demand, which it is, high probability, it pulls back to it. It broke a major high right there. This area right here, there's a gap on this candle. I talk about the fair value gaps, imbalances, whatever you guys want to call them. But it pulls back to this key area of demand right here. Now, I'm interested in what's going on in the volume profile. If the market is pulling back to a key area of demand, right, I'm looking to see, will it pull back to an area of low volume? Okay, because when the market, pockets of low volume or valleys on the volume profile are weak areas in which the market may dip into and then they like to reject out of and push back to higher areas of volume. The market, if you think about it like this, where do you see most of the transactions take place within the market? At major peaks, okay, within the volume profile. The market is comfortable coming back to those areas and transacting multiple times throughout the day. All right. It's just like a means of protection for the market. It likes to dip into the low volume areas, either move to them quickly and test maybe a high volume area below it, or it may dip into a low volume area like right here, a low volume node, and then it rejects it and it pushes back to, an area of high volume. So you have what's classified as high volume and low volume nodes within the market when you're trading. Now, you can also use, like I said, a dynamic volume profile. As you see here, you see my volume profile shifting as I move from left to right. Okay, it's picking up the areas of volume within picture of what it sees in view of on the chart itself. Okay, if you use more of like a static volume profile, it's going to be set to maybe a 5-day, 10-day, 15-day, whatever you have it set to. So it's looking at accumulation of volume over a period of time. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested only what's going on with price action and structure at the given moment in reference to the volume profile. Now, the market breaks this area of structure. It comes back. What do you see here? It pulls right back. This is confluence, and this is how I trade using a strategy, off my charts each and every day surrounding supply and demand. Again, I talk about things like this in great detail for those that choose to become part of that private community of either elite or an ultra elite supporters or members of that community. I'll talk about that again towards the end. Look, it pulls back to this key area of low volume right here. All right. I don't like to take trades right at a high volume area because when the market gets to areas of high volume, it can like ping pong around before it decides if it's going to push lower or if it's going to push higher. When it dips into these low pockets or low valley areas right here on the volume profile, pulls back, it broke structure. This is a high probability area of demand here. Guess what? Pulls into that low volume area. Volume profile, those low pocket areas, is a means of areas of confluence. So if you have already a zone here that you marked up in reference to what took place, the market in price action breaking structure above this area here, and you have this aggressive buying right here, and you have this a high probability because a zone here, because we have a gap on this candle right here, and then it pulls back here. The more confluence you have when you are marking up and looking for in trade entry, the better off the market, the trade is going to work in your actual favor. So volume profile to me is the number one indicator that I choose to use as part of my trading each and every single day. It helps me take out the guessing within my trades. All right. So it helps me limit the areas, or helps me limit the zones that I want to trade. Mark up the higher range chart. Market comes back to it. We're in a low profile area, or a low volume area. Then I'll just move down to my lower chart to look for an opportunity to go long off of. So as the markets were tracing back to this higher range zone that I have marked up here, okay, and it's in a low volume area, I'll scale down to my say, for example, if it was my MES chart, say for example, micro E-mini S&P 500 or the ES, I'll scale down to a 12 range chart from the 60 range and look for an opportunity on my 12 range chart to go long at an area of demand. So what I'm looking for is confluence to where we mark up our higher range chart first. Okay, this being a demand zone, and as the markets were tracing back to this low volume area at this higher range demand zone that I have marked up, I'll wait for it to tap the higher range on my lower range chart, whatever it may be. And then on that lower entry chart, I'll look for a demand setup to take the trade in the same direction as we see what's taking place here on on the higher range chart as it pulled back to this area right here. So tap the higher range chart, go down to a lower range chart, look for rejection off of a demand zone on the lower range chart, moving in confluence with the higher range zone, a higher range chart. As you see, that's what it did here. Rejected it. You can find a setup like this on the lower chart. Go long, aim back up here for the highs, but be careful because this is a supply area right here. You see this aggressive selling right here. So the market came up, filled the gaps in this candle and this candle, right back to up here, and then it decided to go lower. That's what I'm looking for each and every single day. Another example, like right here, we'll see. Let me show you this first. And if you have the range volume profile tool as a means of more confluence, like this is more of a dynamic volume profile, where it's looking at areas here and here, right? If I want to get more specific and really fine tune this, what I can use is what's called a range volume profile. I'll mark up this swing right here, that swing to the top right here, and come back to where the market retraces back to the zone right here. And as you can see, if I blow this up, look, it comes down, it taps into the zone. We have a low volume node resting right there. See that little valley? That's going to give you confluence. Then on this range profile right here, you see that little pink line right there? That is the point of control, the volume point of control of this range area here. So the market's moved away from it, okay? It's moved away from it. It's dipped into this low volume area right here. The value area of this range is sitting right here. This is the value area high. This is your value area low. This is your the VPOC right here. It dips into a low range or low volume node area right here. Lots of confluence right here, especially with the volume point of control being centered on this small range volume area right here that I've got drawn up. So again, we're in a low volume area. It's a high probability setup on the higher range chart. Scale down to your lower range chart and look for rejection to go long, okay? For it to come back, test the high. And if you see here, it came all the way back up and it tested the value area within this swing right here, where it pushed up, pull back, broke structure, here, and it broke more structure as it took out that major high right there. This is what I'm using every single day, guys. The volume profile is singly the most important tool or indicator of my choice when I'm trading either the micros, the full-on standard E-minis. But I want to share this with you today because it's a very good quality tool to use. Now, if you look at another example right quick, look here, okay? We'll talk about this little area right here. Look, another demand setup right here. Aggressive buying, pulls back, high volume area. High probability area here. Look where it pulls back right here. Low volume area right there. Pulls back into that zone right there. Now, if I really want to kind of look at this more so in a, because what it's doing is taking an accumulation of all the volume right here and possibly in this area here. Now, if I want to get more specific and fine tune it, use that volume profile range tool. Mark it up right there, all right? And we will blow this up some, bring this out a little bit more, okay? All right, now, look what it did. Comes down, we tap into our zone right here. Low volume area here. The VPOC is right here. The volume point of control is centered up in this area here. It rejects that area where we have a high probability demand setup at. below the VPOC within this range volume profile. It rejects it and goes up there and tests that that value area high of this actual area on the volume profile, that range volume profile. This is why I say volume profile is one of the most useful and to me the best indicator to use or tools to use, because volume is extremely important. All right. So again, if you don't have it, I believe NinjaTrader offers a version of it. If you have, if you're paying for, I believe they're either on their lifetime license or you have the, I believe the paying the lease of the monthly subscription. There are alternative versions out there. I don't know 100%. The one I use is from discotrading.com, but it is currently no longer available. I purchased this probably 12 years plus ago, and but right now with things going on, still with sanctions going on overseas, this was a company that was in one of those areas that offered this. They were a great company, offered a lot of tools. Probably some of the best indicators at the time when I was, looking for a nice volume profile to use. So I purchased it. It wasn't that much. But again, this is the one from discotrading.com. It's called the volume range profile tool. But I believe their site is down now. But it is still active for those that have, purchased it in the past. So that's the reason why I still have access to it. But NinjaTrader offers their version of it, but I believe you have to have either the monthly or the lifetime subscription of using their platform. But it's under the order flow suite package they have, their volume profile too. All right. Guys, I want to share this with you. Please, this release takes out the guessing part of looking for entries, especially you can use it as an extra, like a tertiary tool to find great entry points or zones within the market. That's all I want to share for everyone out there. I wish everyone a great rest of their weekend. And what I want to say here is that if you choose to, you want to become like an elite or an ultra elite supporter, guys, that's where I go into detail about the strategy in reference to how I trade. Surrounding supply and demand. Highly effective. Lots of people do trade it who are part of the Discord. A lot of people have converted over from time charts down to range bar charts using the strategy. Because I'm looking at chart confluence. That's very important. You do not have to spend tons and loads of time here on the chart looking for setups, guys. I'm telling you this now. The way I trade using range bar charts is highly effective, just like I said. But you want to make sure you're trading with the direction of the chart. So all I do is use a higher range bar chart, marking my zones, scale down to a lower range chart. And as the markets were tracing back to that higher zone that I marked up off the higher range chart, I'm looking for a setup on the lower range chart, whether it's a demand within a demand setup or supply within a supply setup. That's what I talk about here on the channel. That's what the elite and the ultra elite supporters are getting. They receive the trade breakdowns where I go in great detail. I post my trade entries over on the Discord community. Okay, the link to the Discord is down in the description. But I post my trade entries for all the elite and ultra elite supporters. I break them down in fine detail as if you're sitting right next to me, all right, or virtually. I explain it and talking about structure, price action, stop loss placement, profit target areas, just the full rundown of my mindset of what I was thinking leading up to every one of those trades, so you can understand these type setups. Talking about, is it a high probability setup? Is it a low probability setup? What makes the difference of a high probability versus low probability setup? All the things that are covered within the strategy itself. Now, you receive all the trade breakdown videos, which are tons of them that you can sit there and watch, a series of videos, and just basically understand and start to learn and looking for these setups. So when you're back testing and forward testing, there's no second guessing there, really. You can look for them yourself and say, okay, now I understand, the process, the steps, structure first, looking at price action, what's considered to be a high probability setup versus a low probability setup, all those things. You receive all the trade breakdown videos, the video playlist, and a great video that I covered around market structure for anyone struggling with that concept. That's what you receive if you want to become an elite supporter of the channel. It's only $6.99 a month. Break that down on a daily basis and what it is, what's that going to give you? Like pennies on the dollar a day. Seriously, very inexpensive. Now, if you want to become an ultra elite supporter, you receive everything I just discussed plus my live recorded trading sessions. Okay. All right. So with the live recorded trading sessions, I record my sessions. All right. I talk to you basically as I'm walking through top-down analysis, as I'm sitting from the charts. You see me engage in trades. I break the trades down so that you understand every setup that I take within the actual session. It is very, they're high-quality videos. They're great videos because people want to see people engage or, in the market, meaning they want to be able to understand the thought process when someone was actually trading. So I record those videos and then I post them for you to actually watch if you choose to become an ultra elite supporter. So with ultra elite supporters, they receive all the trade breakdown videos, the video playlist, the market structure videos, plus my live recorded trading videos that I post just as well. Okay, that price is $14.99 a month if you choose to become one. The link is down in the description portion of the video. First one is the Discord. The second one is titled Elite or Ultra Elite Supporters. Click on that. You'll see a few tiers pop up. Click on to the left-hand side, either a elite or ultra elite. And when you do, you'll see all the perks and rewards that you receive for each tier and the price levels, okay? The choice is yours, but that's where, I really break things down and where I really go into detail about this strategy and how it works. People are passing their challenges, their prop firm challenges, their evaluations, and are doing well with the same strategy each and every single day, okay? Now, I cannot guarantee anything to anyone out there because you are different than I and you are different than the next person. As far as like being able to understand certain things, people have, some bad habits. Okay. I'll say it like that, because there's a lot of things as a trader that you have to get over. There's so many hurdles, and not just using a certain strategy or understanding, the markets as a whole. Some people try to use old ways or old habits and try to merge them, and then that may fall into play. And they're trying to use too many strategies as a whole. I'm very simplistic. I'm using one thing that works for me, and I stick with that, and that's it. Okay. And then some people are just, they're very greedy, or they are chasing the market. So I cannot guarantee that what I have to share with you is going to work because you may not take the full on time to really, grasp things and just try to rush. I'm very patient in the way I trade. Okay. But the system does work if you spend time, watching the video content, understanding it, and, even maybe reaching out to me if you choose to. If you have a question about something in particular, you can catch me on the DM on the Discord, all right? Again, both links are down in the description. The Discord link plus the private community of it becoming an elite or an ultra elite supporter if you choose to, all right? That's all I have to say, guys. If you're not a current subscriber here on the channel, please take the time to sub by clicking that button down below. Make sure to turn your post notifications on by clicking the bell. And last but not least, if you found value in today's video, make sure to click that thumbs up button, that like button for me. I greatly appreciate it. Take care and see you in the next one.